Hi guys! Welcome back to our YouTube channel, The Traveler Tips. But before we get started on today's travel ideas and tips, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. Today, we are going to talk about the requirements for travelers who want to travel to the land of morning calm, Korea, including their health and safety precautions. But due to involving COVID-19 situations, PAL or Philippines Airlines and various governments have issues, precautionary measures, mandatory protocols, and requirements for travelers. Before you fly, please be informed of the latest travel requirements. Here are the Philippines Airline requirements for all travelers in relation to COVID-19 pandemic. First, wear your face mask. Mask wearing is still recommended for public use and still mandatory on many airlines. But wearing a mask, you're stopping the spread of the virus. Second, temperature checks. Temperature checks in airports can help prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Individuals with higher temperatures, like those associated with COVID-19, can be identified quickly. Third, vaccination card. Your vaccination card is one of the most useful health records and an important piece of document nowadays in order to freely travel to different places and countries.
Dear travelers, let's talk about what to prepare before departing or going to Korea. For the smooth process through immigration, the following documents are required to enter Korea. Please check ahead before your departure. Here is the list you need for the requirements. Entry process, Korean visa or K-visa, negative COVID-19 certificate, and Q code. For the entry process, please check the entry process through Korean diplomatic mission in your country. So, to get a visa or K-visa, apply for the Korean visa. And due to the COVID-19 situation, Korea has temporarily suspended the visa-free and visa waiver program and has officially implemented the Korea Electronic Travel Authorization System or KETA. Visa-free travelers must check the eligibility and apply for the KETA in advance to enter Korea. Travelers who are not eligible for the KETA are required to apply for visa. And for our details about KETA, you can visit the websites. So, for all travelers must provide a negative COVID-19 CPR test result certificate from PCR test taken with 48 hours or 2 days prior departure. Travelers without a negative COVID-19 PCR test result cannot get in the plane. So you need to get a negative COVID-19 to prove that you are negative to the virus, to the coronavirus. So for Q code, register travelers' information on Q code website. Registering travelers' information on the Q code website before getting to the plane will make the entry process in the Korea quicker by using QR code. By using a Q code, they can make it easier to you to go to Korea. Q code registration is not requirement, but travelers who are fully vaccinated overseas must register their certificate online to be exempted from quarantine. Expedited the entry via Q code currently only available in international airport. There's a plans to be expanded on the other airports and seaports in the future. So, if you are fully vaccinated and have a booster, you can apply for the Q code. You can register for Q code to make your travel easier and quicker, because you don't have to be quarantined if you have the Q code. It's already proved that if you have negative COVID-19 PCR test result certificate and you have the Q code, you don't need to be quarantined within prior time that needed. So please.
Now, let's talk about the key information for travelers to South Korea. Make sure you are up to date with your COVID-19 vaccines before traveling to South Korea. If you are not up to date with your COVID-19 vaccines, avoid travel to South Korea. Even if you are up to date with your COVID-19 vaccines, you may still be at risk for getting and spreading COVID-19. Anyone 2 years or older should properly wear a well-fitting mask in indoor public spaces. If you have weakened immune system, you are at increased for severe disease even if you are up to date with your COVID-19 vaccines. Talk with your clinician about your risk and consider delaying traveling to South Korea. Follow all requirements and recommendations in South Korea.
So, for the medical requirement in South Korea, we got you. You must provide proof of a negative COVID-19 PCR test in English or Korean 48 hours before departure to enter in South Korea. And if you're in South Korea for transit, you don't need proof for a negative COVID-19 test result. Depending on your vacation status, you may be required to take a COVID-19 test on arrival. You may also be required to quarantine for 7 days if you don't have accommodation. You'll stay in a government-run facility at your expense. And breaking self-quarantine could lead to significant fines, deportation, or imprisonment. You may be exempt from mandatory quarantine if you're fully vaccinated against COVID-19. And before travel, you must fill out your travel and vaccination details at the Q Code website and you'll receive a Q code for your arrival.
Hotel protocol in South Korea. So about the health protocol in South Korea hotel, don't worry because here are the protocols they implement to prevent the transmission of COVID-19 while ensuring that all guests and customers are as comfortable as possible. Everyone should follow basic precaution. Wash all the parts of your hands frequently, at least 20 seconds if using alcohol-based hand rub, and at least 40 seconds with soap and water, including after exchanging objects such as money or credit card. Look for hand sanitizer station and use them before going into dining hall, restaurant, or bars. Cover a cut or sneeze with a bent elbow or tissue and throw away the tissue in the closed bin. Maintain at least a 1 meter distance from staff or other guests. This include avoiding hugging, kissing, or shaking hand. If you are guaranteed the distance, wear masks. Be sure to check local and national guidelines on the use of masks.
Restaurant protocol in South Korea. You want to dine in at Korean restaurant? These are the guidelines or protocols to keep in mind. First, wear a mask. Restaurant posting signs saying customer must wear a mask all the time and remove it when only dining. Also, restaurant employees must also wear masks and check their temperature before reporting to work. Disinfecting alcohol for hand sanitizing is available at restaurant entrances for visitors to use before entering. The hygiene guideline encourage restaurants to put signs reminding customers to wash their hands often. Not just in restaurants but also in malls, bank, workplace, supermarkets, and other establishments. The hygiene guideline encourage restaurants to instruct guests or customers to keep a distance to 1 to 2 meters. Many restaurants place a tape or labels on the floor to indicate where guests should wait in line.
Do you plan to visit famous destinations here in South Korea? Yet you are struggling to know what's necessary to do before visiting. Well, you don't have to worry because I got your back. These are the things to remember for someone who will visit some famous destinations here in Korea. First, maintain at least a 1 meter distance from the other tourists. This includes hugging, kissing, or shaking hands. If you can't guarantee the distance, please wear a mask. Be sure to check the local and national guidelines on the use of wearing masks. Second, always carry alcohol so that bacteria or viruses do not spread on our hands if we come in contact with other objects. Third, and most importantly, if you have signs or symptoms, it is better to just stay in your hotel where you are staying and inform the authority.
Returning in the Philippines. What about returning back to the Philippines? Don't you worry, we got you. Here are the things that need to follow. They shall monitor themselves for any signs of symptoms until 14th day from arrival. Negative RT-PCR test taken within 48 hours or negative antigen test taken within 24 hours prior to departure from the country of origin. Not applicable to children below 3 years old. Medical certificate from a licensed physician stating that the traveler has completed the mandatory isolation period, is no longer infectious, and has been allowed free movement and travel. That is for today video. I hope understand and comprehend the travel requirements, including their health and safety precautions. For those who want to travel to the land of morning calm, South Korea, come and enjoy Korea with its beautiful mountain and oceans, colorful cities and nightscape, dynamic culture, and delicious Korean food.